Okay, so I'm going to show you what you did that made the problem so hard, but I'm still going to work through what you're doing, and it should still work out. So let's take a look. Your setup is fine. The issue that you're running into here is, notice, you put a box, actually let me use red to make this show up a little better. You put a box. You said, I'm pivoting right here around that number. Then you proceed to go and use row operators that don't use that pivot. That's your mistake. You need to, if you're going to pivot around that row, this needs to be some combination of row 2 and row 1. But that being said, it'll still work, but this is why your problem's going to get unnecessarily complicated. So, nonetheless, going through here, your work looks fine. Going to here, your work looks fine. You did all your correct operators, everything looks good. Now, where we get interesting is right here. You set P equal to 0. You can't do that. We're trying to maximize P, and now you're saying it's 0. All right, so let's tear this apart like I did in class and say, what is this bottom equation telling us? I forgot the variables. Q, R, and P. Okay, so what you're saying to us is we have 1/2 Q plus 1/2 R plus 3/2 P, and that's equal to 6. All right, and that's legal. That's fine. So remember, though, our goal is to maximize P. So let's get everything over to the other side. So that's going to give us, 3/2. 3/2 P, which is equal to 6 minus 1/2 Q minus 1/2 R. So now the idea, and then we can multiply through by 2/3. So that gives us 2/3 times 6 minus 1/2 Q minus 1/2 R. I apologize for the scratching. I don't have my headset. That muffles the scratching, so if you hear it, I apologize. It's the pen being close to the mic. All right, so now I can distribute that through, which is going to give me, let's see, 6 divided by 3, that is, brain start working 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So these 2's simplify, leaving me with minus 1/2 Q. Those 2 simplifies, leaving me with 1/3, excuse me, not 1/2, 1/3 Q. 1/3 Q and 1/3 R. So now what we're going to say is, what would make my P maximum? Well, that's when Q equals 0 and R equals 0. Those are the ones that are going to be equal to 0. When those are 0, we know P is equal to 4. So these two are fine. This one, not so much. We know from looking right here, we could say P equals 4. So now, when you're going through, now in class this was easy because these were zeros, so we didn't even think about it. But now when we're going through, we can't ignore the P's. So as we go through this and we check it out, we've got, let me rewrite these variables because I keep forgetting, X and Y. Okay, that's actually not that hard. So this top equation would be 1y plus 1p is equal to 6. So therefore, but we know p is really 4, so that means y plus 4 equals 6, so therefore y equals 2. Now, same thing for the next equation. We have 2x's plus 0y's plus 0 plus 0 minus p equals 0. But again, we know p is 4. So therefore, that's going to give me 2x equals 4, so that means x equals 2. So therefore, I have an answer of 2, 2, with a max of 4. And when I go back and look at your problem, you can see right here, there's your 2, 2 with a max of 4. The problem would have been infinitely simpler, much more simple, if you just would have used, if you pivot around 2, use that row for each of your eliminations. So don't use 3 and 1, no. Use, again, I personally would have just done negative row 2 plus 2 row 1s, and then down here I would never have used a half. I would have done the same thing I did up there. I would have used row 2 plus 2 row 3s. And that way I don't have the fractions and I don't have to deal with any of that as I'm working. But it's personal preference at that point. The fractions would work. But make sure, just like you did on this step, since you pivoted around row 1, you used row 1 in both of the row operators. That way, when you do that, you avoid introducing these p's all over the place. Because if you'll notice, why you had this p here, this value in p, was because you did row 3 and row 1 to make a new row 1. Anyway, want to show you, still works, but it was just a little harder to read. But I hope that made sense.